Hey, Chantanya. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. How you doing, man? We're still waiting for Jen to join. To unmute, just click the mic button at the bottom left.
Yeah. Hi. You can call me Chai, actually. Okay, that's a short.
Chaya, cool.
Yeah, Chai. Yeah.
Chai, awesome.
Yeah.
Like the beverage.
I'm sorry.
Like the beverage.
Yeah, exactly like the beverage.
Awesome. Cool. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Yes. I just realized that you just have to join from the phone. You can't join as a speaker from the laptop. That's weird.
Yeah. One day, once Twitter finishes with the NFT integration, they may be able to do this Twitter Spaces on desktop. That'll be good.
Yeah.
They're very busy at confusing everyone.
Right.
What takes priority?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So add a speaker, Web3Auth. Let's see. There we go. Yes, we can. Perfect. Yes, we can. I would also recommend wearing earphones. Probably I'll try to do a better job at notifying you guys that Twitter Spaces is mobile only. And if you want to participate, it's important to ideally to use just wired headphones. I used to host a few of them previously with AirPods, and the volume was all around the place. So having a pair of headphones is advisable. Jen, can you hear us? Chai, I assume that was Jen trying to connect.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm not sure if Ben is here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I can hear you guys, but I hear you guys at a very lagged. I hear you guys at a very. I think.
Are you? Make sure you're on a 4G. I think sometimes works much better than Wi-Fi.
There's a good 10 seconds before I hear you guys, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Try maybe reconnecting or try to get into, I don't know, 4G or 5G connection instead of using Wi-Fi. Or
okay, let me just try that. I'm so sorry.
But
I think perhaps Chai and yourself can go ahead first if you guys would like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just another potential reason is if you're on a VPN, make sure that it doesn't route through some crazy path that is far away from your existing location. All right. While Jen is trying to reconnect, Chai, shall we get started? If you're ready to,
sure.
Answer some big questions.
We'll try. Yeah, maybe we can do the big questions. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can do it.
We'll try to shoot all the biggest questions at you, and then Jen will be able to do the small talk.
Okay.
Yeah. Just once again wanted to make a just general overview for everyone who's joined us here today. I'm seeing a few people asking for speaker requesting speaker positions. We'll have a space for Q&A towards the end, and I think we'll do the main section will be about 20, 30, 40 minutes. We'll see how far we'll go, and then after that we'll open for Q&A. So AB Buki, thanks so much for asking for a speaker position. I'll grant it to you later. Make sure you prepare some good questions. All right, Jen, can you hear? No lag, more lag, less lag. Sounds like there's probably more lag. Wow. Okay. Anyway,
the lag is more or less about the same. So I mean, I think you guys go ahead with the question. Leave the relaxed questions for me.
Yeah, just in the meantime, try to reconnect through a different network or through different account. That's also could be a possibility. Could be a reason for the lag. Anyway, all right. So welcome everyone. We're doing these weekly, and I think we had a bit of a break during the New Year's and Christmas time, and we pretty much talked to founders and HR teams at Web3 crypto companies, chatting about their culture, what their project, of course, is about, how they scale their team, what it's like to work in crypto in Web3 full time. And of course, there'll be a kind of opportunity for the company to share whom are they hiring for right now, and for everyone else who's listening, you guys prepare questions. Maybe this is going to be your golden hour to maybe get in full time into the space with the company. So anyway, today we have Web3Auth. Previously, it was called Taurus, and Web3Auth, you guessed it, they do authentication, but I'm not going to be putting words in you guys' mouth. So I just let you guys introduce yourselves and share a bit more what the Web3Auth is about. Try it.
Yeah. Oh, Zen dropped off. Okay. Yeah. Hello.
Oh, all the responsibilities on you, man.
Oh man. Okay. No problem. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. So
there were some connection issues, so that's why. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, congrats once again on your recent rebrand. And just like you used to be called Taurus, now you guys are Web3Auth. Amazing name. Super excited for you. Even jealous. This is so good. Anyway, just tell us what you guys do. What's special about Web3Auth? What do you guys? How long you've been around? How did this get started? What problem you're solving?
Right. So Taurus as a company has been in the space for almost 3 years now. Okay, I would say. Initially, we basically found that there is a huge amount of friction. Okay, for new users to get onboarded onto the crypto space. So we wanted to give the users a familiar Web2 like experience. Okay. So let's say, if you have your dad, your uncle, your grandma, okay, so all of them are just familiar with Web2 sites. Okay, they are familiar with just having a sign in with Google or at best an email password. Okay, so they're more familiar with it, they're more comfortable with it. But when you come to the Web3 space, people, they're expected to suddenly have a huge learning curve where they need to learn about seed phrases, where they need to learn about backing them up very securely, and they need to know about how to install Chrome extensions and how to manage security, all of that. So it's I would say a decent task. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for that, we wanted to solve this problem. Okay, we wanted to simplify this. We wanted to give them the same Web2 like experience, but with the safety guarantees of Web3. Okay, so that is why we started this company called Taurus. Okay, initially. So our aim was to just give you a simple Google login and you get your private key. Okay, but we also wanted to make sure that it's not centralized. Okay, so what we have is a set of Taurus nodes which are run by some big stakeholders in the industry, and we and these nodes basically come together and reconstruct your private key only in the front end. Okay, so at any point Taurus does not actually reconstruct the entire private key. Okay, it's just only in your front end in your browser. Okay, that's all. So since we wanted as Taurus, we have provided this service for almost 3 years now. But as you see, the number of applications and the number of people who are coming to the space have been increasing. Okay, and there has been a huge explosion with terms of the DeFi boom first and the NFT boom second. So in order to accommodate to all these new users, okay, we wanted to rebrand our company to fit this narrative even better. Okay, so we got this recommendation from a lot of people in the community itself that what do? We provide authentication services for Web3. Okay, so that's how we ended up with the name. To be honest, Web3Auth. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think that just to kind of simplify it for some people who might be not as technical, like I think a lot of people so far experienced like login with MetaMask or login with Wallet Connect, right? Like maybe you can like explain in a simple way, simple terms, what's the main difference between just using Wallet Connect and just MetaMask in your browser as an extension, versus using a Taurus or versus using Web3 Auth?
Okay. So let's say in case of MetaMask, right? While setting it up, MetaMask, you usually take around a solid 5 minutes to set up the entire extension. Okay, you need to worry about how to securely store the seed phrase, etc. Right? So it's a big ask when you are talking about your parents or grandma, right? So in case of Web3 Auth, you don't need to remember anything. Okay, all you have to do is just one click login. Okay, you just sign in with Google and boom, you're in. Okay, that's pretty much that's pretty much the experience we're going for. And let's say if you're trading in regular DeFi apps or high security applications, you may want the additional security. But let's say if you're doing for some small game, okay, which has a small blockchain component, okay, for those users to be able to set up MetaMask is much harder. Okay, so they want a very simple experience. Okay, they want to just focus on their game and use blockchain as an ancillary component in there. So in those scenarios, if you just log in with Taurus, or Web3 Auth, you'll be logged in very fast, and it's using a distributed set of Taurus nodes. Okay, so I mean, how do I say this? It's fully decentralized. Okay, yeah.
Cool. So like just to clarify, right? You mentioned like people can just log in with their email and password or with Google, and now just to get a bit more technical, like the actual Facebook login or Google login, it's pretty much part of the Auth 0, right? Auth or Auth 2.0, for example, right? So like these credentials are not really, and the data from your Google account or from your Facebook account or Twitter account is not really exposed to the application. It's just the public key and the Web3 provider. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, your last part got cut off.
Sure.
It's just the public key and
it's just pretty much the public key and Web3 provider itself that is being exposed to the application, but not the full account that you're logging in with Google. Okay. And is there is there like another product question before we move on to the like team conversation and the culture and company? Am I able to like restore my private keys somehow, like from behind the scenes?
Yes. So Web3 Auth has actually multiple components. Okay. So the first component is just the Taurus nodes, right? Okay. Which should basically give you one private key. And then let's say you can have one more share from, let's say, a backup phrase, okay, or a password. Okay. So you can have these combination of other security factors, or like one more share from your device. Okay, so you can have a combination of these factors and then create a new private key. Okay, so this way you add kind of 2FA on top of your existing Google login. Okay, so Web3 Auth provides you this comfort and added security for your peace of mind, basically. Okay. And for those applications where, let's say, if you're storing a high value amount, right, you want to secure it to 2FA, which is a standard experience as a Web2 user. Okay, so we want to bring that standard experience to Web3 as well. So that is why we added this 2FA concept, where the second factor can be your device share or your password or your device share or your password or your backup phrase. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. And from the developer standpoint of view, like if I'm building an application, right, is it easier for me to use Web3 Auth compared to kind of just integrating with Ethers.js or Web3.js? What's the difference from that standpoint of view?
So one thing I would say in terms of the developer perspective is that Web3 Auth integration is so easy, you can do it in 4 lines. Okay. Yeah. And from just the 4 lines of code, you get the entire login model. Okay, you get all the Google logins. Okay, okay, Google, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, all of the logins, and you also get external providers as well. Okay, and you get sign in with your other factors as well. Okay, so like let's say if you want to sign in with MetaMask, that is also supported in the new Web3 Auth package which we just released. Okay, and it's, as I said, a 4-line integration. Okay.
Cool. And once
it's batteries, I would say it's batteries included, to be honest. Yeah.
Cool. Does it come up with a free ETH in the account.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I assume like once I'm signed in with Web3Auth, I'm able to sign transactions as well.
Yes.
And so like how do these signing of transactions work? Is it like additional pop-up, or do I need to install additional some external Chrome plugin to sign transactions, or how the
Nothing.
signatures be
To be
brought in?
honest, yeah, Web3 allows you to use Web3 allows you to use your own UX as well. Okay, so in the sense that there won't be any transaction.
Hello, I think Chai, we lost you. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Oh my. What's with the internet these days? I think everyone went online after the holidays. Everyone's realized that they need to check their email. Got dummy email traffic. Let's see. All right, let's give Chai a chance to rejoin. While Chai is rejoining, we're gonna open a floor for just one question. Oh, okay, he's rejoining. Let's see. We'll save your questions. Don't get too excited, or actually do get excited, but write down your questions. We'll have time to answer them in the end. Chai, you back?
Yeah, hi. I don't know. Twitter app just kicked me out for some reason. It just crashed on me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure your connection is stable.
Yeah, my connection is quite good actually, but it's just that the app crashed. That's weird. Yeah.
It's trying to load the entire chain to show the NFTs. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Cool. All right. So I think I got and hopefully everyone else here got a little bit of a picture of what's going on in terms of your product. Cool. So like you guys, you've been around for 3 years, and like what's the scale of the team right now? How are you guys doing in that regard?
So initially, we are currently a team of around 21 people. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And we recently raised our Series A funding, as was mentioned in the announcement, and our rebrand. And we are currently trying to expand to a team of 30. Okay. We are constantly.
Wait, didn't you just say that you have no, you said the 20, right?
21, yeah.
Right now. 21, okay.
Yeah. We are expanding until 30, and so we are currently hiring. So if anyone is interested, please do apply. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. We'll hope that some people from this chat will be able to apply. Maybe there are some good candidates here.
Yeah.
But we'll judge that based on the questions that will follow towards the end. Okay. Yeah. So like, tell me a bit more about like when you just started. Were you part of the team as well when the company was just formed and the idea came about? Like, well, you were there as well. And
So I'm actually the first employee in the company, to be honest.
Awesome.
Yeah. So when I joined, we just had nothing but not even a real demo, to be honest. Okay, it's just a very small basic application. Okay, which is trying to be our first Ethereum wallet. Okay, and we just built from there, and it took a lot of twists and turns, but and we reiterated. Sorry, how do I say it? we created several products from our existing Ethereum wallet. So, I would like to say one concept here. So first, we initially started out building Ethereum wallet, okay, and then several people just wanted the authentication service which was powering it. So we launched a product called Custom Auth then, and then several people just wanted, we want the authentication service, but we feel like just using the Taurus nodes is not good enough. Okay, we want 2FA on top of it. So we built a product called Open Login. Okay, and then hello. Yeah. Product called Open Login. And at this point, people feel like your company has so many product suites, so why don't you just integrate all of them and then build a really comprehensive authentication solution? So that is where we rebranded as Web3Auth, and that is why all our products basically cater to different sections of dApps. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's just that we have been responding continually and evolving to what the market needs. Okay, people really love our services, and that is why they keep asking us. Just why don't you spin this out as a service? Why don't you spin that out as a service? And that is why currently we have ended at Web3Auth. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting story of, and I think very insightful story of kind of pivoting from one idea to another, because usually when you start something, it never necessarily works out the way you expect it. So it's really admirable to hear that. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting insight to people who maybe in this group are starting their own company or starting their own project in the space. So right. Keep iterating, keep trying. I think is the lesson here. And I would also recommend that.
Another lesson is basically listen to what your customer wants.
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe don't try to build another wallet. It's very competitive. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there are still opportunities for more wallets. I don't know. You probably know the space better than I do. Okay, cool. So when you guys, when you're expanding, is it primarily technical positions, non-technical positions? And what's the kind of team composition so far?
Yeah. We had both technical and non-technical, to be honest. And our tech team is always growing. So we're always on the lookout for really good candidates in terms of our tech team. And our non-tech team, which includes, we have 3 UX people working on for us. Wow. And we also have around 5 people in the marketing team. Okay. And both the teams are constantly, increasing, to be honest. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 people in the UX team. That's quite a lot for a 20 people company.
Right. So it's just because I would say that at Taurus we want to simplify this UX, right? It's our primary goal as a company. Okay, we want to simplify blockchain for a regular Web2 user. Okay, and we spin out a lot of. We spin out a lot of prototypes. We test these with different sections of users. We try to bring out the best possible design, which is the most simplest to use for a regular user. So that is why we keep hiring even in that regard as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that 3 UX designers is super admirable for a company, and especially of such a small size. What I've observed over the years that there are a lot of designers who want to work in a space and who want to work in crypto, in Web3. But at the same time, there's not enough companies hiring, even though I believe that most companies desperately need to improve their kind of usability. And that was especially relevant in a few years ago when things like, Wallet Connect, for example, didn't exist and transactions took, probably even longer. Fewer people were educated about the space. So not everyone's used to asynchronous transactions or things not happening instantly like they happened with Web2.
Right.
Well, for now, scaling is coming.
Yes. Soon, PM.
Yes, soon. Cool. And so right now, when you guys expand, what are your main interview? What's the interview process like? Are there any specific qualities that you're looking for, regardless of the position that you're hiring for?
Yes. So the first.
I think the app crashed again. All right. I think Chai is not with us again. Let's see if he will be able to rejoin. Add a speaker. Yeah, make sure you don't have any other apps open. Free your memory. Purge that RAM. Cool. Okay, so do you remember the question? Shall I repeat it?
Yeah, please repeat it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your culture like? What are the traits that you guys looking for, regardless of whether it's technical or non-technical position?
Right. So we want people to iterate quickly, okay, in our company, and we have a principle, okay, which is strong opinions loosely held. Okay, that's one. We have that quote actually painted in the office. Okay, so
Awesome.
that the idea is that not everything which we try in this space works out in the first time. Okay, so we want to keep iterating. We want to basically constantly learn, constantly expand our knowledge horizon, and as well as we want to try out different approaches on how to solve this problem of making a good wallet in the blockchain space and a good authentication system in the blockchain space, which is very easy to use. Okay. So we're always on the lookout for people who are, willing to learn. So even if people do not have prior blockchain experience, we are still willing to hire them because they bring out a fresh perspective to the team. Okay, they help us gain those new insights as well. Okay, that is something we are always on the lookout for. Okay, fresh idea.
This is great. Any other kind of mantras or like core value slogans that you guys have in the team that you try to operate by?
So as I said, it's strong opinions loosely held. Okay, so we don't try to
That's like one and only. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any like I don't know, secret sauce or like spicy questions that you usually ask your candidates for the culture fit?
For the culture fit, so we want to make sure that people can work. So right now in this trying times, as people say, okay, because of the COVID-19 pandemic and all, our team is currently remote first. Okay, so we feel like we want to work with people in different time zones so that people can feel comfortable working from their own home. Okay, and and we also want them to feel comfortable and bring their maximum productivity to the table. Okay, so yeah.
Okay, but is there like any how do you figure out whether the person is like it lives and breathes Web3Auth DNA, that the person will fit? Do you have any like indicators that you ask that you feel okay, this person is, even if they're coming from zero crypto background or zero crypto experience?
It's the zeal to learn and constantly evolve, to be honest. Okay, we look at multiple factors. So our interview process currently actually is of 4 rounds, to be honest. The first round is where we just try to gauge the communication of the candidate. Okay, we just try to get to know the candidate and his past experience in general. Okay, so we try to basically observe that the candidate has been really good at what he does. Okay, he's able to communicate very effectively his thoughts and his processes clearly. Okay, so we are a process-driven company, and we put a lot of emphasis on the way we approach a problem. Okay, we don't want just to solve the problem with a patch fix, right? So we want to make sure that the processes are right and the thought process is right. Okay, in that regard. The second round usually includes like a technical round, or for the business people, it will be like a creative exercise, etc. The third round includes a system design, so that even though you are a junior level, the question will be gauged for the candidate for the appropriate level, obviously. But we want them to understand how a module fits in a bigger piece. Okay, so even for business, let's say, it will be how does a small piece fit in a large part of a larger campaign in general. Okay, so we have that as a third round, and in the final round we do a HR round and a culture fit round, basically, which is where we take the final decision and then see how the candidate has progressed through the previous rounds and see how the candidate has progressed through the previous rounds. And we just like to see whether they can be the best version of themselves of Taurus or not. Okay.
Cool. Have you had any like funny situations, funny hiring stories previously?
I mean, sure. I mean, there are like a lot, to be honest. Okay. But one thing that comes to my mind is one thing that comes to my mind is that in this because of the pandemic, right? So all our interviews have been only remote only. Okay. So you see a lot of connection issues. You see a lot of reconnect. I mean, you understand it, right? I mean, it's just like another annoying Zoom call, to be honest. Yeah.
So any like something memorable specifically that you've seen during those interviews? What's the weirdest background that you've seen on Zoom?
Oh, weirdest Zoom background. Oh, okay. One guy put Taj Mahal as his background. Okay. I mean.
Okay. Did he go through?
No, he did not go through, unfortunately. But like Taj Mahal for an interview, really. I mean.
Well, could have been worse. Could have been worse. Do you, speaking of these kind of things that are, again, like everyone's interviewing over video, over internet, and in the beginning, it's always some sort of either email or job application that you need to screen through with the CV. Do you feel like I suppose you look at like hundreds of those CVs and cover letters and applications? Do you have any have you noticed any like patterns of what you wish fewer people did and what you wish more people did?
Patterns of things which fewer people did. Oh, okay.
Like anything that you feel that what's your kind of general advice to people listening in terms of like applying to positions in crypto?
Right. So one thing which I would like to really emphasize here is that several candidates.
We lost you, sir. Let's try and I'll remove Chai from speaker right now and we'll re-add him again. Let's see if his connection improves. While Chai is rejoining, we have a space for one question only, really quick. If anyone wants to ask a question, maybe Vignesh wants to ask a question. Maybe someone else. We had quite a few people with raised hands. Or you can save questions for later.
I don't really have a question. I'll let others have this opportunity.
Cool. There we go.
I mean, I use S21 Plus. Okay, so it's the best one for Android so far. So I don't know.
Questionable. sorry. I'm trying to be funny today. I'm not sure if I'm succeeding. Okay, so any like general advice for people that are applying to positions in crypto? What should they do or what should they not do on their like application letters?
Right. So the first thing is we really want the candidates to research about the company first before applying. Okay, we have seen too many applications where the candidates don't even know what the company does and they just apply. And several times, the worst part is sometimes they just don't even show up after scheduling an interview. Okay, I mean. We want to reduce the instance of that happening, and we really feel like if candidates could research a bit more about what the company does, just go through our sites. I mean, we have a bunch of them. Just go through our main one at least to see what we do before they join an interview. That's something which I would really like to put forward there. And we also at least use our products first, right? I mean, we have a bunch of applications which include the main Ethereum wallet, Solana wallet, etc. So if candidates could use that, and then if they could suggest some issues or suggest improvements, okay, in those products, like we would consider that as a huge plus during an interview.
Yeah, very good points. Okay. Is there anything? Have you seen anything else that you would want to like add to this list of things that like a must see on the application or on the cover letter?
I think Zen joined. Is that Zen? Hello.
Well, someone joined from your Web3Auth. Hopefully it's Zen. I'm trying to add. I'm inviting to speak. Let's see if that request will get accepted or not. Yeah, but keep going. Share those golden nuggets of information.
We would really appreciate if candidates just spend a bit more time researching our product and going through our documentation. And prior blockchain knowledge is obviously not necessary. It's just we have a very good onboarding process within the company where we explain and ramp up the knowledge of the employees over the first couple of months. Okay, and we really would want them to apply. And but interest in the blockchain's ecosystem, as a whole, should be a must. And the willingness to learn the new concepts, okay, must is also another must. Yeah, that is what we want to see more of. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
And did I mention that we are remote first? Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys are you all across certain specific like time zone, or are you willing to share the location? I know some companies are a bit more, full on decentralized, and they are not that open to sharing their location. There you go.
Yes, then we can hear you.
Hopefully without delay. All right.
Hello,
it sounds like there is a delay.
Okay.
It's 100% of delay. I mean, you guys just go ahead, and perhaps like there's 100% delay, so perhaps you guys just go ahead, and maybe I can answer like one or two questions towards the end, just one or two. You guys can accommodate to the delay.
But since we can hear you now, perhaps you might want to like just say a few things about how you guys are hiring right now, or certain interesting facts about Web3Auth, and kind of just share what's on your mind and like where you guys headed right now.
Yeah, why not? I mean, Chai covered a couple of things, and I covered quite a bit of it. Ultimately, the main mission of Web3Auth is really just to proliferate the usage of crypto in the ecosystem. Crypto has tons of benefits, right? And I think we are all here because we know of those benefits. And we're just trying to make sure that more and more people can access those benefits and really use it. You had a particular question that was quite interesting earlier on, which was with regards to how we check if people are a cultural fit. For me personally, the way I do it is I kind of ask the same question quite a few times in different ways. A lot of people are really good at interviews, right? So we just ask like their life story and what they've done in different directions. So you try to decipher after that. It's really just about asking one question tons of times.
What is that specific question? Life story?
Yeah, it's kind of
All right. Let's see. Yep.
Yeah, hi. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, my connection keep. I think it's just that all people who are using Android phones have some problem. Okay.
Mhm. Sure, let's assume that.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Where were we? I think Jen, we were hoping to get the response from him, but I think in addition to the delay, something else got cut off. All right, I think we covered quite a lot of things, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to list what are the specific positions that you currently have open, and what's the best way to apply, and then we'll open up the room for questions.
Yes. So we are currently hiring for dev evangelists, and we're also hiring a lot of normal developers as well. Okay. These are and we are also hiring for business. Okay. So the best way to apply would be on angel.co. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We also sometimes post on, of course, crypto jobs list. Okay.
Yeah, I tagged a few tweets shared them in the room at the top.
Yes.
So people can just go ahead and apply.
Yes. We are also looking for iOS developers as well, because that seems to be a real tough way. I mean, tough one to get, to be honest. And
yeah, why is that?
I'm not sure. I really am not sure why is it tough to get. Okay, we have received much lesser applications for iOS developers, and so we just featured that opportunity on crypto jobs list today. So maybe we'll get a lot more today. Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope so. I wonder if it's because of Mr. Zuck back in 2014 hiring all iOS developers to prevent people from creating next Snapchats and Instagrams. I remember when with that hiring spree, specifically after all mobile developers, they just hire them regardless of whether they actually have a project for them or not, just to move them out of the market. Anyway, but I think it's been quite a few years since then. Okay, amazing. We'll hope that some more people apply to these positions. Let's open up the room for Q&A. We have X Barrelhead, NFT and crypto nerd. Let's add him to ask a question. And guys, feel free to request mic access. If you guys look good, if your profile picture looks nice, we'll give you access. Hey, sir. Please proceed with your question.
Hello. Hey, I have a couple of questions. First, we're in a stage where there's so much decentralization happening, and are we at a stage where companies will hire people even without their own identity card or something? Because we've seen so many businesses or protocols where they keep hiring people on Discord for a long time. They build their reputation with those names and all. How far are we at a stage where companies would pursue those opportunities, if not for full time, at least part-time?
I feel the industry as a whole is evolving towards that in this respect. Okay. As you see, such kind of hiring was not really possible before the pandemic. Not really much, and the pandemic has really brought forward a change in paradigm, and it feels like more and more people are accepting this kind of approach for hiring. And to be honest, Taurus, we always hire irrespective of where you're from. Okay, so you can stay fully anonymous and still work for Taurus. Yeah, Web3 Auth. Sorry.
Okay. I think so. Just to be more clear, let's say for me, if I just give you my name as this and my profile picture as whatever is there on my Twitter right now, and then I work part time, do you think that's a realistic opportunity? At least in, let's say, for example, at Web3 or some other company.
It must be mostly, but we do some sort of security check before doing some payment. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But
Thank you.
we are gradually expanding, okay, and increasing all of this. Okay, yeah.
Barrelhead, is that the end of the question? Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the question. I just wanted to add to like a follow-up question. Do you guys have any unknowns working for you right now?
Not at the moment, but a lot of people contribute to us. So we are open source project primarily, okay, and a lot of people do submit, contributions individually to our GitHub, okay, and we also have a lot of bug bounties where people obviously contribute anonymously over there, okay, report, and they can claim the bug bounty without any security check. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks once again to the person who asked the question, Barrelhead. Okay, next up is Viral Sangani. Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm a Web2 developer right now and looking for a job in Web3. But everywhere I see people are looking for 3 years of experience, 5 years of experiences, and I have experiences for let's say 1 year and 10 months or so. So like, why are people looking for so experienced developers? As in like Web3 is so new and still people are looking for so experienced people.
Chai, did you hear the question? I hope Chai did not get disconnected again. Sounds like he did. All right, let me answer this question while Chai is reconnecting. Or I would say that what companies usually mean when they say like a few years of experience, especially for developers, you still need to have experience to code ideally. And I mean, even though Web3 is quite different from Web2, the fundamental programming skills are like there's a significant overlap, right? Like if you're a good engineer, you'll in Web2 you'll be a good engineer in Web3 eventually. Of course, there is a learning curve, but it's a relatively easy learning curve to master if you're good. If you're not really good and mediocre and in previous tech stack, the learning curve for you will be very steep. So having years of experience just shows that it's going to be even faster for you to transition into Web3. And I would say that people who start coding and like Solidity is their first ever programming language, I'm a bit afraid. I would be very terrified to hire someone who's like, Solidity is my first programming language, and like here I come, like gonna be writing production ready contracts. I would not send my funds to that contract. Maybe in a few years that will change, but these are my two sats. These are my two way of comment. But I'll give the mic to Chai.
So we don't really mind if people have no experience in the blockchain space before they join Taurus, because but we do expect the candidates to have certain amount of experience as listed in the job description, because we do hire senior and junior engineers. So if you match the experience required for the corresponding role, we are happy to welcome you. And in terms of blockchain experience, I would say it's good to have prior blockchain experience, but it's not really mandatory, because we have a really good onboarding process where we onboard people through our tech stack in the first couple of months. And what we need from you in return is the willingness to learn and ramp up very quickly. Okay, that is all. Does it answer your question?
Yes. So let's say if someone applies for a job requirement at a company that has less than 3 years of an experience, so do you take those interviews, or just by default rejected by the system or something?
Usually these go through our filters. So yeah, we don't. I think we do have a couple of junior roles, okay, which we have hired for already. Okay, we currently don't have them open right now, a junior developer position, but we did hire some people with just 2+ years of experience, just to, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
It depends basically. The answer to the question is it depends basically on the role open at the moment. Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much, Viral, for the question. I'm gonna demote you, or for now. Feel free to add yourself again if you have more questions. All right. Next up is Mansi. Mansi Shukla. If Mansi can hear us, please share your question. All right. Maybe she will ask a question later. Tanish Goyal.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so I have two questions. One was related to hiring and the other, the actual product. So I'll start with the hiring one first because I think it'll end quickly. Jobs in this crypto domain, I've seen that there's not a lot of unpaid internship work that I can, find on normal websites or stuff. So are those opportunities available, do you feel, in the field, or are they just, on a case-to-case basis? And should a person really be going for unpaid work in the beginning to gain experience? What are your thoughts on that?
Ideally,
all right, here we go again. Let's see. I remember the last part of your question around like whether it's okay to do like free work to get experience. I would personally say that it's fine to a certain extent. Just like know where the boundaries are, right? Like if you're spending month and month and month without payment and you're actually adding value or a lot of substantial amount of value, like that becomes a little bit a little bit of questionable zone. It's like a little bit kind of not necessarily okay, right? But quite often, people complain about like, hey, how do I get a job? But because I don't have experience. So the best advice is just get experience. Like start volunteering, start getting things done. That's how you learn. That's how you get to know like what needs to be done and kind of how the work is actually done. Because otherwise, there is no reason for a company to hire someone. It's a huge risk to hire on board someone, share confidential information, pay money, and only to get zero in return. And quite often, it's not just zeros. Quite often, it might be like just like a negative output. But it's very distracting to the team. So I would generally recommend people to start contributing in whatever way possible to the project that you enjoy and admire. Just start adding value, and sooner or later you will get noticed, and you will get engaged more and more in today activity of the project, whether it is on social media, whether it is contributing to code, contributing to content, contributing to marketing. Just don't ask for permission to work for a company. Start working for a company. Start adding value. And you'll be, if your value is actually valuable, you'll be recognized. And there's been plenty of examples of that going through. And we actually have quite a few people here in this Twitter space who I think kind of very well familiar with this. Those are two like my comments. Chai.
Yeah, I totally agree with your sentiment there. In terms of the internship thing. First would be to just contribute to the GitHub projects, and then usually you get recognized by submitting just one PR. Okay, and then that would basically lead to other opportunities. Okay, I totally concur with you that it basically depends on the number of hours. Okay, yeah, you should not be doing free work for other people. Yeah.
Right, and the other thing was about your product in general. So, like I've seen that it's towards non-tech savvy people, right? And it's an authentication product, so there's an inherent misbalance there. Like, how do you guys must have been facing a lot of problems in actually making these non-tech savvy people, believe that your product is safe, especially seeing all of those MetaMask support accounts out there. So, like, how have you been dealing with that?
We currently offer support via a crisp chat. Okay, so and we expect that considering that there has been a significant rise in the number of Telegram fake, support chats. Okay, we have to providing support over either Discord or through Crisp chat. Okay, so that we basically screen so that people have one place to actually come to us for support. Okay, we have faced this problem, and our solution is to come through a Crisp chat, which will be connected directly with us. Please don't reply to anyone who's saying they are from Taurus team. Okay.
No, like I was asking in general that for a company who does authentication and is like, a startup who's into the authentication field, it must be hard to get people to, trust the product before the brand name is, established. Like MetaMask today, I know that it's very safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I got
what
your point now. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, most of our code is open source on GitHub. Okay, so you can actually compile it and then check that it matches the one we are serving. Okay, that basically builds trust. And since the code is open source, you can actually read the entire code and then see, you can actually see that it is not doing anything malicious. Next is we also go through audit reviews every couple of months, I would say. So you can also find audit reports from us on request, or I think they're also present on GitHub as well. So yeah, that's one way to build trust with the users and the community. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. It was a pretty good question. We have Mr. Ash with us today as well. Great to hear you. Great to see you. Hope you had a great past few weeks. Do you have a question for Chai?
Yes, Robert sir, thank you for the opportunity to speak. And Web3Auth, you've got a great project going on. And I would like to ask you from a customer's point of view, say my credentials have been compromised. Okay, attacks have happened. And what is the exposure that the company and the customer both look at in such an event? And second, do you have any plans of hiring a CMO or chief meme officer in the future? Thank you so much. Anybody's free to answer the second question, yeah? Just selling.
A really good one on there. Chief meme officer. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually the business team could answer that question, okay, rather than me. And regarding your first question, what was it again? I'm sorry.
Uh, say the credentials have been compromised. Now I understand
Right.
that it's a decentralized project. The technical is decentralized, but the customer, some haphazard transaction somewhere, the credentials have been misplaced. So
Yes.
in such an event.
So
yes,
in such events, basically, we, as you know, Taurus basically has a 2FA mechanism, right? Which basically means that even if your, let's say, Google login is compromised for whatever reason, okay, the attacker would not be able to get your, the private key at any point, okay? And we don't have any seed phrases or that exposed, and there is no private key also usually exposed for you to, check very easily. Okay, so the chances of this happening are very low, and it's usually dealt on a case-by-case basis.
correct. Okay. Yeah, I do have a few technical questions later. So may I know whom should I approach, please?
You can reach out to us on the Web3Auth Discord group and under the developers section. Okay, we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Yeah.
Perfect. So now that I've placed the seed of thought that you need to hire a chief meme officer. Would you what profile do you usually look at when you're hiring? So do you look at the Twitter profile, or are you more inclined towards the LinkedIn, the good old LinkedIn? So what is your preference?
I mean, it depends on what information the candidate wants to provide to us. Okay. That's what I would say. If you provide your LinkedIn, we look at your LinkedIn. If you provide your Twitter, we look at it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you do not. Okay. So it's free. Good. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Great project, and I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. I just wanted to add that Ash has been a a CMO in residence for crypto jobs list, as in meme officer for quite some time. But really appreciate your memes, man. Keep them coming. Yeah, every company should have a meme officer and the meme officers, multiple. Ideally, everyone's producing memes. Everyone has their Microsoft Paint open to churn out high quality, high resolution memes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Next up, we have Rathod. Mr. Rathod, what's your question?
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to ask about we have some techno-functional roles in Web 2, like business analyst. So do we have similar roles in Web 3 also? And if not, if someone wants to break into Web 3 from similar role, how one can do that and how one can plan about that? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we could hear you. It's just that Chai has a connection issue, so he's rejoining right now.
I think the role you're describing is somewhat considered as dev evangelist. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, correct.
Yeah, and as you can see in the jobs list at the top, okay, we are actually currently hiring for developer relations or dev evangelists. Okay, so you're very much welcome to apply. Yeah. And I feel like in this space, right, a lot more of these roles are required, okay, in order to bridge the gap between the technical team and the business teams of different companies, okay, and how to deal with. So we are a B2B2C company, right? B2B2C, okay. So we constantly talk with multiple other companies, and we need to explain our product to them, and we need to maintain customer relationship with them. Okay, so all of that is usually handled by our dev evangelists and more. Okay, so we are currently hiring for it, and I feel like other companies in the space should do the same. Okay, otherwise they're just simply missing out. Yeah.
Okay, so I have experience on insurance, like insurance business. So I have worked for multiple insurance clients. So if I'm looking for a certain kind of job, do I need to develop my business skills for the company I'm applying for, or is it completely related to blockchain? If I know complete fundamentals of blockchain, if my understanding or if my knowledge about blockchains and different platforms like Ethereum, different blockchains or different tokens and mechanisms is good enough, will I be able to land a job in blockchain space?
Yeah, that would definitely help, okay, in terms of landing the job, but also learning more about what the company does and what its products are and who they are marketing to. Okay, all of that would definitely put you, and give you an edge above the other people who are applying for the similar role. Okay, so usually, as they say, you should do a bit more research before just applying for this role. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks a lot for answering my question. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a good question.
Yeah, you're not expected to know everything upfront. Obviously, you'll be learning a lot of things on the job, but you should definitely show the interest that you're. You should definitely show some indication that you are interested in the space and have put some effort towards it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yeah, just wanted to add that generally, I think like there is no substitute for good, clear communication when people apply to positions, regardless whether it's a technical or non-technical position. So just be clear, how you feel you can add value and show your strong interest in your journey so far in the space, because it's impossible to know everything, and there is always a lot of learning that needs to be done, like joining any company, whether it's in Web3 or not. So just make sure to be very clear about what's your current skill set so far, and how do you feel you will be able to transition into helping that specific company.
Just one more thing. So if I'm applying for similar roles, do I need to be familiar, like hands-on experience with the Solidity, Rust, etc., like the technologies which are being used in blockchain? Or just an overview or an idea would be sufficient?
Well,
So because
I would
because
say
like,
that it's.
yeah, sorry, please continue.
I would say it's actually dependent on the company and the role which you're applying for. But as a general note, it would be of great help if you do understand the entire tech stack of the company. And I would encourage that you would spend a bit more time just learning about all of these different technologies which the company uses. Okay, which you're applying for. Yeah. Basically, you want to show that when you join, you'll be an asset to the team, and of course, you should be just showing that you'll be willing to learn on the job as well. Okay, and that is
Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Yep.
yeah.
All right, awesome question. Guys, any more questions? We still have, I believe, some time. Shai, how are you doing on time? 10 more minutes, 15, 20?
I'm good. Yeah.
3 more hours? A bit too much. Okay, let's see. Let's give some time for people to ask about questions. It can be general questions. Can be questions towards Chai about Web3 Auth. Could be questions towards me as well. And crypto jobs list overall. Yeah. Let's see. Just ask for mic access with the button on the bottom left, and we'll promote you. All right, here we go. Well, it's a bit of a. Make sure your profiles are also like it. Let's see. Hopefully, we're gonna get a good question here. Yeah, hello. What's your question?
My name is Viva and I'm talking from Nigeria. My name is Viva and I'm joining from Nigeria. Viva from Nigeria.
Cool. What's your question?
My question is about general, I guess. It's about applying for the community manager role. For example, I've been applying on some websites on the crypto job list and everything, but I'm yet to get them. Does it mean my resume is not like very nice, or they are just?
You're what? You're breaking up. What's the question again?
My question is, I've applied for the role of community managers for a while now, and getting any reply from them. Does it mean my resume is not good?
Yeah. So just to repeat the question, you're applying for positions, but you're not getting a reply from companies. Yeah, very likely. When someone's not applying, not getting replies from the companies, is because there are a bunch of other maybe better applicants or more relevant applicants to the company, and companies quite often do not have enough time to reply to every single application out there. So unfortunately, they just if you have 100 applications, it's very hard to reply to every single one of them and notify whether the application has been successful or unsuccessful. But yeah, I think I would generally recommend to make sure that the application is as relevant as possible to the job description, and make sure to not copy paste cover letter. Make sure it's very relevant to the what's being to the role itself and to the company. And yeah, these tips should get you a long way, as long as you're communicating clearly and being clear to the point of how can you add value to that role, to that company.
Oh, this is finally working. I think there's no delay. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
oh
awesome.
my
We can
god,
hear you.
This is crazy. I had to update my I updated my OS and I was looking at GitHub. My god.
It required an entire iOS update or OS update, especially if you're on Android.
It's Android. I don't think Twitter is just as optimized as Android. But I'm finally here, guys. Hello. Hi, everybody.
Amazing. I should include in my notes for Twitter Spaces preparation to upgrade your OS.
No, I apologize for missing the whole thing. I don't mean to shall we just continue and then I can just help answer the last few questions and maybe that's it.
Yeah. I mean, like, excited to finally have you in without a lag. Do you feel like have there been any questions that you strongly feel you have something to add to? I think we can start from this, and then maybe the conversation will keep going again.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, I think you covered quite a breadth of questions. In general, I love how you prodded Chai here and there. I would have answered some of the questions slightly differently. It's interesting to hear Chai's perspective on some of the things.
Please do. Please comment on which questions. I can repeat them. Some of them.
Chai, we have 3 principles. We don't just have 1 principle. Hello. So one of them is like loose opinions. I mean, strong opinions loosely held, which Chai commented on. But the second one is definitely also being very execution driven. We have a lot of ideas, right, about things we want to do, things we want to build, and features that we can do. But ultimately, what matters is the product that the user has in their hands and the user enjoys, or like the integration that application has, or the deadline that the project has. So we're also very execution driven in nature as a team. And then the last one is just we're kind of impact driven as well. We all just want to leave we want to have a positive impact on the time that we have here. And at the time that we're working on Web3Auth, we want to leave with a positive impact of what we do. So that's kind of like the 3 things that I would say are our principles. Chai, you missed 2 of them.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. It's just that, I have assimilated the principles as my own, so I just did not have that.
Cool. Do you guys have any questions that you like to ask during interviews to probe whether the candidate has these qualities?
So, more than a question, I kind of like to understand a person's history in terms of what they've done in their life, right, or what they've done in their career. And the way I kind of sieve that out, and the team kind of sieves that out with is really just asking the same question multiple times in different ways. People nowadays are really good at interviews because they do a lot of them themselves, right? And often they can fool you the first few times. I often spend the whole 30 minutes of a get to know you interview just kind of asking maybe 1 or 2 areas of their life, what they were doing, how they were doing it, whether they were the ones contributing to it, how did they solve a problem that was really tough to do, what did they actually do on their team, and understanding if good people will always contribute wherever they are, right? People who are good contribute where they are, no matter what they do, or no matter what project team they're on. So it's just kind of understanding that, and then deriving whether or not they are the ones that did what they're saying they did.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, fair enough. Is there any situations that you feel? I think one of your team colleagues asked me to ask whether you guys had any interesting, funny situations. Did you want to add anything about that? Was there anything?
So in particular, this one guy joined. With Zoom backgrounds, you can kind of upload your own pictures.
Yeah.
So one of them joined with themselves screenshotted, and then in a posing mode.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the background for the whole thing. But I thought it was their video for a while because it was kind of moving and blinking. But you get what I mean? It was a GIF of the background. That was quite funny.
Okay, but was it it was a good thing, not necessarily
it was it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was quite funny.
Okay.
Let's see. Some other. I mean, it's always nice hearing people's stories. And where they've come up with, how they found us. What's another funny one? Once did an interview of a person who was on a Jeep somewhere in the middle of a safari.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that was because they they really wanted to talk to us, but at the same time, they were in the middle of a safari. And it was like he was on the middle of a 14-hour trip, and we were just talking as he was there halfway, and you could see he was showing us zebras along the way and stuff like that. So that was quite interesting.
A highly professional environment. Interesting.
That was very interesting.
I recently was on an interview myself, and I was like hiring someone for Crypto Jobs List, and something I would recommend people not to do is not to take calls while they're like sitting in their bed. I understand it's COVID and such, but it looked like the person was like just sitting on their, not on the couch, but like, you can see the back of the bed, like the camera is like on their belly or somewhere. Anyway, guys, don't do that. Make sure you have a professional background when you do video calls. In the end of the day, we want more people in the space hired successfully and growing the space together successfully. So I think these tips should be useful and valuable to everyone who's listening here. Cool. Right. Do you feel you have any like pet peeves that you've seen while people apply?
I don't want to stress too much on kind of like not knowing the company at all, because Chai expressed that quite a few times. So I'll have a different pet peeve. I think ultimately, communication is super important. So, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate, but I think when you're trying to perform in a team where especially such a small team as a startup, right? You need everybody to be communicating quick, communicating fast, and I do think that unfortunately having a good command of English is quite important for Web3 Auth. Not for other companies, obviously, but for Web3 Auth, communication is quite important here.
Okay. It's definitely an important skill to communicate clearly and fast and with the right expectations. Right, cool. Yeah, I'm just going through the list of questions that I had drafted, and I'm thinking, like, is there anything that we have missed, or if there is anything that you will be especially well positioned to answer those questions? Congrats once again on the rebrand and the fundraise. I think especially a lot of companies raise a lot of money these days, but making bold rebranding moves is more rare. Than successful rebranding moves. So congrats on that once again. Do you have anything to add in terms of how this transition went from Taurus into Web3 Auth?
It's not so much. It's not so much a rebrand as it is a kind of like introduction of a new brand. The Taurus brand is actually still staying.
Okay.
And that's kind of like becoming Web3 Auth has two components to it. We have the product that people know and love that we've spoken about earlier, so I won't go over it again. And then we have kind of like the infrastructure that powers that product, right? And as is any Web3 company, that infrastructure does need to be a little bit more decentralized over time, which we are progressively doing. So the introduction of the Taurus brand to exclusively refer to the infrastructure behind it, which is what we're going to be kind of like progressively decentralizing soon. So it is kind of like our next step forward there, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I think a lot of people, and just to comment on decentralization, I think a lot of people in the space, kind of now a lot of people have discussed like whether something is a dApp or not a dApp, whether it's decentralized or not decentralized. And I think for all it's important to understand that for all projects that are highly decentralized today, they all started with one or two nodes at some point in time, like even Bitcoin mainnet. At some point it was just like two nodes mining away.
Yeah, 100%. And mainnet going down every now and then.
Yep. Cool. Can you maybe share more about yourself and like your journey running the company? Is this your first startup, or you're a serial entrepreneur? And
I would say
any tips on personal growth that you experienced through the years with the company?
right. Personal growth, lots. Every year I thought my past self is stupider. But this isn't my first company. But it's my first VC funded company. You got me? Or my first tech play. I previously, whilst at, I'm not sure if others are aware of this, but I'm from Singapore, right? And in Singapore, you have to do national service, which is like compulsory military or like. So I was a fireman for 2 years, and basically during that time, that was when I first started the company. It was like a private driving instructor company, so very different. Taurus was my first kind of like tech play, or Web3Auth is kind of like my first tech play. And for me, it really started, what really inspired. So I used to be a business kid, right? Back in the day, I did my degree in like business. I was in investment banking. I was like in MBB consulting. And there was one night I remember I was doing I was building a slide deck in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. and I was wondering, what am I doing with my life? Right? So I knew I kind of want to get out of that. And I eventually kind of chanced upon, while I was working at a VC, I chanced upon Vitalik while he was like giving a speech. And in a very interesting kind of like a fashion, it was a speech in Singapore at one of these banks. It was like one of these fintech incubator or accelerator sort of lineups. So there are lots of other startups that came before him. And everybody else was wearing a suit, was very formal, well-spoken. But Vitalik was like in a unicorn shirt, right, as he usually is, with rainbow colors and all. And that just kind of like left an impact on me. And then after that, I just swapped to like computer science and just engineering all the way. Worked at Visa for a while, worked at Foundation, then spun out Taurus as kind of like a side project there, my co-founder Leonard.
Cool. Interesting story. You mentioned your first company was private driver instructor company?
Yeah. So, when you're learning to drive for the first time, you kind of need somebody to teach you. I think in the US and all, you can learn from parents or like from somebody who's older than you. But in Singapore, it has to be done by somebody who's licensed. So
right. Yeah. Specifically for truck drivers.
Yes.
There are not that many trucks in Singapore. Truck drivers.
No, it's not necessarily truck drivers. It's car drivers. Just cars as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Even like
any vehicle. Mm-hmm.
So commercial and non-commercial.
Yeah. So it's actually a very tedious process in Singapore. They make it such that like they try to reduce traffic by stopping people from driving in the first place.
Yep.
So it takes like 9 months for you to get your driving license. So it's actually quite lucrative to be an instructor here.
Cool. Okay. So how do you feel in terms of like transitioning from a kind of cash flow business into a kind of VC fund? I'm not sure if WebAuth, if Taurus has a kind of significant cash flow right now, but I understand you're raising quite a lot.
If you believe it or not.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. We're actually profitable if you believe it or not. So we're doing pretty well. I mean, the first startup was more of something I was doing during uni, or like during military service.
Yeah.
So I mean, whilst it kind of like gave me income at that point in time, it wasn't really anything of like it grew to a team of maybe 3. It still exists today, by the way. But I'm just not part of it anymore. But like, but like it's just. I mean, I don't know. I went through uni before the transition, so I didn't really feel anything. I don't really have anything interesting to share.
Understood. Like you mentioned, Taurus Web3Auth is like profitable. How did you make a decision to raise more funding? Where are you profitable? Like, okay, first of all, probably let me like rephrase the question or like give more like leading question. When you started Taurus, did you like raise a seed round for it?
Yes. So that was kind of like 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years. Our first seed was from Multicoin and Binance. And that was for like 2 million. And then just fast forward our fundraising history. Our next round is like 13 million, and it's now. To be honest, last year we had a huge spike in growth, and we raised this round. You know, a round always gets announced a little bit before, a little bit after the round is actually closed. This round was actually closed like mid last year, and we've taken a while to announce it because we wanted to couple it with our product launch, and that's why we're doing it early this year. But we weren't profitable last year, and we're profitable this year, so that's why we raised funds.
Cool, congrats. And I guess you also coupling it with aggressive hiring. Right now.
Yeah. So do join us, guys. I assure you that it's kind of fun to work here. We're all kind of like a mix of. We like T-shaped people, so we like people who are really good at something, but are a jack of all trades, of everything else. So. But we really look out for T-shaped people. So if you believe you're T-shaped, come and say hi.
Yeah. You mentioned, Chai mentioned that you guys are, and you mentioned that you guys in Singapore, and you're like 21 people team. Is everyone in Singapore right now, or how's it like? How's hiring like right now? I personally feel that it's not that easy to find good people in Singapore, but maybe you have a different experience.
Are you based out of Singapore as well?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. My God, it's really hard. I mean, Chai is a gem in the rough. I swear. And so is the rest of our team on board. Hiring isn't the easiest. Tennille, who I think is listening here too, has really been helping us out with that. So we got our own in-house kind of like HR and recruiter.
Yep.
And that's really been helping us out. I think we used the team. Your first question was where the team is based out of, right? We used to be based out of Singapore when we were about maybe like 8 people. And so there are about 8 of us which are based out of Singapore. But as we started kind of like our next wave of hiring, we decided to expand just to be remote first, to expand that talent pool. Because as you say, it's hard to it's hard when you limit your pool here. And there's so much talent just all over the place, really, that can really help contribute. The thing that we look out for is just people in the same time zone. You just have to be like around this time zone such that you can do stand-up every day. India's perfect. Russia's great. Africa's okay, but still slightly at its edge.
Since half of the team is remote, another half is in Singapore, potentially in the office, right? Do you feel like also just like some context is that teams that are fully remote, a lot of people know how to operate when a company is fully remote. When everyone's in an office, it's also kind of a known model. But when companies try to be kind of 50-50, where like half of the company in the office and the other half remote, I've seen a lot of companies, kind of having challenges or complain about that kind of dynamic that like certain people are not always in office. How do you guys manage that? Do you guys have any like specific activities that you do, or everyone's in their, in their bedrooms anyway, working from their laptops? How do you guys manage this like kind of hybrid, half remote, half in office?
It's a little bit more of the latter. I must admit. We just decided to fully go remote. We actually tried going both ways, like you said, and it did kind of result in problems. Mainly because when you prioritize remote, everybody contributes to overcoming the communication overhead, right? That you have to deal with. But if you have a half situation, then the people at the office don't care, and then the people who are remote can't talk to them because we just chose to just go fully remote first and accommodate to everybody. Just agreeing with you, I don't think the hybrid approach works. It's you just go all the way, and you have to stick with it. And things we do to make it a little bit better, ultimately, is about. I think the biggest compromise to having a remote team versus everybody in office is it's the water cooler talk, it's the communication overhead, and then it's empathy, right? It's empathy with people. When you know a person and when you see them every day and when you talk to them, have that water cooler talk, have lunch with them, you feel for them, right? You understand what's going on in their life. You understand like the workload that they're having. You kind of when things go wrong, you empathize with them and then you back them up, right? And you go like and you help them out. We're buddies in this. We're all in this together. I think it's a little bit harder in a remote team to have that same connection, right? And you really have to work for the team to have that connection. So we've been doing several things. We've recognized that, and we've been doing several things towards trying to make that having the team a little bit more close knit. We do Gather Town. I'm not sure if you.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a fun time. So for those of you who are listening in who don't know what this is, it's Gather Town is it's just kind of like online event space where you have a character, an avatar, and you go around. And the way it works is if you go close to somebody, it turns on a video call, and then you can talk to them. And if you go away from them, you stop talking to them, right? So it feels like a real life meeting space and a real life event space. And in GatherTown, you can play games like Poker Night. You can have like you can play Werewolf, crossword puzzles. So we've kind of started doing more of this, just having more frequent parties to try to bridge this empathy gap that we've been lacking.
Awesome. Yeah, I was about to ask specifically about GatherTown, and there's another product that is Topia, which is somewhat similar.
Have you tried both? I mean, we've only tried GatherTown, and it's been working for us. But
yes, surprisingly, I haven't tried Topia yet. But the CEO of Topia is a friend of mine, so I feel a little bit guilty.
So we better try it.
Yeah, I better try it. But but GatherTown is something that we also have been kind of looking at and actually planning this year to host more sessions and potentially even host interviews like this on GatherTown, and maybe like some just general hangouts for the community as well as like some hiring events.
Imagine if you had like I thought of this before, and I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was a great idea. Like you imagine if you have speed interviewing, right? Or speed dating. Like you just invite 5 companies there and like people to just sit there, and then people come in for like a 1 hour period and rotate.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly the plan. Do not spill our beans too early. But yeah, we'll be doing that, and you guys are definitely invited to join and participate.
We'd love to participate there.
Yeah, it's still going to be very like experimental, and we'll see whether kind of dynamic this kind of interviewing works. So happy to guys have you, and we'll definitely be getting more people from Twitter joining the space. We'll probably have to do some like pre-screening to make sure that everyone's in the space are kind of maybe like have at least certain level of experience, or maybe they're like focused around a specific.
Oh, that's super exciting. It sounds super fun. I think that sounds great.
Yeah, we'll try to like have something like just specifically for developers, specifically for one specific type of role, right? Rather than if we were to try to organize something with like a bunch of technical, non-technical positions, it will be I think like not as effective, perhaps. I don't know. That's my current brainstorming.
I think the screening is, ultimately, online you do have, when you make it just completely permissionless, you do have, permissionless is often good, but you often want kind of like an audit tag there as well.
Yeah. Cool. Have you guys tried any other interesting tools to facilitate your like working process? And, anything unique and not so common, or anything that you find underrated by the community?
So I think having the right communication platform is important. We shifted from Telegram to Discord. Mm-hmm. We used to be like solely on Telegram, but like as the team grows, and I think as conversations have kind of like you need different channels and threads, and I think Slack works, Discord works, but I think it's important to pick a channel and ensure that everybody is kind of on it. We've done things as well, such as because everything's online, it's important, and everybody's communicating online. It's important that there aren't technical difficulties like there was today with Twitter Space. It just destroys the whole experience, right? And it becomes even more frustrating when you're walking. So we do things. We've done things like if you're in a location where bandwidth is or internet is just not as stable. For example, some regions in India, maybe Africa, we kind of like pay for like you to have 3 connections, like the top 3 connections of the highest performance or whatever, right? And that's because like if one goes down, at least you have the other. More redundancy. You should always be, it's just too frustrating to be working in an environment where you can't be communicating with one another efficiently. Then I'm not sure. Other than that, like it's just really ensuring that everybody has a nice working setup such that they have a quiet area to be talking. They have a quiet area to be working. I don't know. What are other companies doing? We'd love to adopt some processes, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so far I haven't seen anyone doing anything like super extraordinary. Everyone's on Discord. I'm trying to think if there was anything that really stood out of everyone that I talked to. But yeah, mainly just everyone's Discord. More and more people try to adopt Gather Town. That's why I'm asking this question. Like I haven't seen any specific like silver bullet or a gem that really stood out in terms of like fixing the communication.
Let me know if you find that bullet.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely a golden bullet, or like that.
For sure. Cool. Let's see. I'm just going through a list of questions again. Thinking what could we ask again, because I think we've already been about 2 hours in. Or if you'd like, we can open up the floor to more questions. I think there has been.
Yeah, I think opening up the floor might be nice at this point. It's everybody's tired of listening to us talk.
Well, hopefully they're learning something new. All right, we have Ash having a question, and we have Leanne being in a queue as well for some time. So prepare your questions. All right, go ahead, Ash. Unmute yourself. Ask a question.
Thank you, sir. So there are a few other projects who are interested in making Singapore their head of operations or the place of operations, base operations. So is there any law firm that you can guide us to where that law firm takes care of everything, the certificate of incorporation, opening up of bank accounts, and all the legalities?
Yeah, so it depends on your budget. You can PM me. I have several to recommend, but it really depends on your budget. Simmons & Simmons has been great. Taylor Vinters via as well. Yeah, Kay, do you have anything? Do you have anybody to recommend in particular?
Are you referring to me? Yeah. Good question. For crypto, yeah. I mean, Simmons & Simmons came up a few times. I haven't worked with them personally. Just general incorporation. There is Sleek and there is Awesome. And I think for just general incorporation, and they're more than enough incorporation accounting, and they work with quite a few crypto companies as well. But they probably would not be able to offer highly in-depth like legal advice if you're launching a token, for example. These are like that. That's what I would comment. But yeah, this is a good question. I would actually add a follow-up question to this: is like, what are your thoughts on the recent MAS law that they issued that you cannot advertise cryptocurrency trading in Singapore?
Yes, sir. My question too.
It seems like things are clamping down a little bit more. From what I hear, that's actually a coordinated effort, by the way, with
between
India, Singapore, London, UK. I mean, doing this all at once. So it's interesting that this is happening. I do think it's well within the parameters of what has already been set, though. Like, it's a very Singaporean thing to. I don't know how many of you guys are based out of Singapore. But it's a very Singaporean thing to. Like, we do this with casinos. We do this with. We do this with like. I think gambling's really just the best example where, like, you can open a casino here and you can let tourists gamble at the casino, but you can't let Singaporeans gamble.
Yep.
So you can come here, start your crypto company, sell to everybody else, but no selling to Singaporeans.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a little bit I don't know. I was kind of not shocked, but I think I was upset as everyone else. And like, is there going to be more negative news to come? Because I do actually hear from quite a few people from kind of high up in the government who have access to high people there, that they actually wanting to promote access to crypto to a wider masses. And so these are two very conflicting sentiments, which is quite surprising. And I feel like it's going to take a hit as well on conferences and events, because I believe that certain conferences might be considered as advertising. So I wonder what will happen once we conquer COVID and COVID regulations, and we're back to organizing some meetups and events. I wonder whether these meetups and events will fall under these advertising regulations around crypto.
Yep. So one more question. So if you're giving away laptops to your employees, how do you manage those laptops? Like, how do you
Everybody uses personal laptops.
Okay. That's all I wanted to ask. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raman sir.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. I think this question came up in our Discord some time ago around companies giving out corporate equipment, and I was commenting that these days most remote companies they do not really give out corporate laptops. They in best case scenarios they usually have a certain allowance, but in most cases it's just like you buy your own laptop from your salary, because it's like just way too much overhead to manage devices.
Yep.
Cool. All right. We have Leanne, who's been on mute for quite some time. If you're hearing us, ask your question. Leanne.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this.
Hello.
I am a student graduating in May, and I wanted to know what kind of opportunities there were for new graduates, if there's any new grad programs, because I know it's kind of like a newer space, and I'm not sure if those are out there available. Yeah.
Are you CS grad or are you like a business side?
Sorry?
Are you on the technical side? Are you a CS grad or are you on the business side? I see.
I am a CS and finance business student. So both.
I see. Wait, so CS and business, so both?
Yes.
CS means computer science, FYI. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I mean, if you're technical, like there definitely are roles. Ultimately, I don't think you can expect a grad program. I'm not sure if you're asking in the context of Web3Auth or you're asking in the context of Web3Auth and kind of like in general in the crypto community. I can answer both. So I think in general in the crypto community, there aren't grad programs. There's several like academies or boot camps that you could sign up for to get like some sort of certification. I think Consensus had one before, and you have others which do that too. But in general, you don't have something like that. Yeah, I don't see Consensus and like even the large like crypto companies having specifically grad programs and targeting new grads like the way Google, Facebook, and Tech in Asia do. That said, I mean, if you really want to be working in the Web3 space, and you're coming from CS, it's not Web3 isn't that hard to pick up. I would say, like, spend some time just like digging through things. Find the company you're really interested in, and then like dig into their product, submit a PR request. They'll call you up for an interview, and I think that's how you get in.
Thank you for the advice. That sounds very interesting to get in.
Yeah, just wanted to add that for developers, it's definitely a very clear route in this space, because a lot of projects are open source, or at least partially open source. And if you're contributing to their code, if you're sending pull requests, you're definitely going to be noticed. And if you're doing quality pull requests, like there is no way that a company would not reach out to you and ask you if you're interested in working and contributing more, especially if you're doing exceptional work and exceptional contributions.
If you can develop, honestly, crypto space is always begging for developers.
Yep. So yes, as a developer, apply to jobs, but most importantly, just find GitHub accounts of different projects, of the projects you like, and start experimenting with those projects. Start issuing pull requests. Start adding some value to them, whether it's even as little as fixing some typo in README, all the way to fixing bugs. And you'll definitely going to be noticed, and you'll definitely going to be offered anywhere from internship to some interim program to maybe a full-time opportunity.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the question. All right. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Now is your time. I think we're going to be wrapping up in about 10-15 minutes. Zen, how are you feeling?
Yeah, sounds good.
It's getting 8 p.m. Time for some dim sum on Friday. Yeah, thank you so much once again, by the way, for joining on Friday evening. I was thinking.
No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that of the technical difficulties.
Yeah. Happens. I'll also know to do a better job at big red text, update your phone and make sure it's mobile only. Something that I could improve as well. Cool. Well, no one's asking for. No one has any more questions. So yeah, thanks once again, Zen and Chai, for coming up today. Thanks for your patience and updating the Android phone. Again, to everyone here, Web3 Auth is hiring. So come to Crypto Jobs List, apply to their jobs. We tagged quite a few of them in this Twitter space as well, and in our feed. So looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much. Congrats once again on the rebrand. I'm super jealous of Web3 Auth, the domain name, and the branding in the name. It's super amazing stuff. And yeah, let's do some time coffee with Kaya Toast.
Cheers. All right. Yeah, let's definitely definitely add what's that? Yakun
Kaya Toast. That's right.
Yes, we'll be in touch. Until next time. Yeah.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead.